Hey there, friends. Today's internet rant is inspired by Dave Manick's open letter to the industry in ED Publications, which triggered in me so many thoughts and feelings that I wanted to get them down on video before they escaped my mind altogether. First of all, kudos for encouraging us to look in the mirror because that's often where the answer lies. I am a frenzied cheerleader of taking responsibility because if we build something with a wonky foundation, usually we and we alone have the unique insight to fix it. I too have heard the lament, the business just isn't fun anymore, as if it is the responsibility of politicians with moral agendas, the girls, the pandemic, the post pandemic, and of course, the internet. So, I pose the question to operators everywhere, what is your idea of fun? Perhaps it's hanging in your own club, playing the part of your own best guest, basking in the electric atmosphere and warm attention from your cast and entertainers. But if you no longer enjoy, even fleetingly, the very thing that you built, I have a second question for you. How the fuck do you think the guests feel? The experience has diminished for the most part. For me, the reasons for that are less interesting than the solutions. So I will ask my third and final follow up question. How do we fix it? Dave suggested attend the expo, to which I would add attend the expo to participate in the community, not just to swing our dicks at each other at Ace or drink or gamble to the exclusion of all else. There is plenty of time to do all of that. Show up for the seminars, walk the trade show, require that your cast do the same, and then ask them to share what they've learned afterwards, like how you had to share what you read over the summer when you went back to school. Without further ado, here are KMA's 5 tips for bringing back the fun. Issue number 1. Many owners and operators have lost respect for the entertainers, for the team, and for the guest. I hear the terms that we use to refer to our girls and our customers. And it's understandable in a lot of ways. We're often in a position to see men and women behave at their worst. So it's easy to revert to cynicism. Suggestion number 1. Even during difficult times, speak to your dream guest, rock star team member, or fantasy performer, not the lowest common denominator. Do this whether you're posting for new talent, you're greeting a party, or even having a difficult conversation with a team member. Notice the difference in the language that I used. By welcoming guests as ladies and gentlemen instead of, hey guys, what's up? You've shown respect, but you've also indicated the kind of behavior that you expect in return. You can choose your own words, but you must use them every time, all the time. Invite people to rise to your level rather than sinking to theirs. Issue number 2. We all admire you venue leaders who no longer drink, who go to bed at 8 p.m., but somebody, doesn't have to be you, needs to get out there. It's natural to outgrow some of the elements that may have attracted us to the business in the first place. But some of us, when we opine on the industry, we're talking about what happened in 1996. Solution. Someone in the organization should make it a point of regularly visiting other venues, not just adult venues. We know this new generation of guests isn't that into gentlemen's club, so what the fuck are they into? If the big bangers are no longer showing up with any kind of regularity, what lounge, what restaurant is actually earning their dollars? And rather than bitching and moaning about the fucking internet, open an OnlyFans account and see what the fuss is about. If we don't explore our environment, how do we get inspired, draft new talent? How do we understand what we are truly competing against? Issue number 3. Many of our venues are dated with burned out neon and cigarette butt confetti and carpet that's so old it's merged with the subfloor to become some other thing entirely. But we don't need yearly makeovers like the mega clubs do, right? Our appeal is everlasting. We're not subject to trends, to the whims of the cool crowd. This is still true to an extent, but the only trend we should all be paying attention to is fewer people visiting our venues. Solution. If you think capitalization and depreciation are your accountant's headaches, well, they kind of are. But may I suggest taking the principles behind them and putting them to practical use? Stop waiting for shit to break before scrambling to fix it, or even worse, just letting it slide until it becomes overwhelming and there's no hope anymore. Make a plan to replace your carpet every 3 years, your POS hardware every four, your refrigeration every five, or whatever it may be. If possible, set the money aside so it's there when you need it. If a love seat in the VIP breaks or a mirrored tile off the fucking ceiling, create a system where your leadership can request repair immediately. And for the sake of everything, a cleaning service is not a luxury. It's not optional. Our venues, whether they're high end or mid market or whatever you want to call it, must vibrate with pride. If we aren't enthusiastic about them, how do we expect anybody else to be? Issue number 4. Most entertainers today are independent contractors and the rest of them act like they are. We've arguably given up control over the most important aspect of our business. I'm old enough to remember when operators used to talk about breaking entertainers like ponies. Once we wrapped our heads around the whole independent contractor thing, I was astounded at how quickly we tapped out. The truth is, we were all too willing to give up control because we never really had it anyway. The entertainers were always challenging to manage because they had all the leverage, even if they didn't realize it at the time. Today, venue leaders are quick to tell a guest who's been insulted or overcharged. It's not our fault. They're independent contractors. Like we're running some roadhouse in Tijuana. Enter at your own risk and hope they don't turn into fucking vampires. Solution. Guests don't want to hear we have no control because that's not the brand promise. And throwing up our hands at the entertainers is never going to get the job done. We must win them over with a professional culture grounded in pride and respect. We do this by actively instilling it in leadership at the top until it trickles down and infects the rest of the team. If we do our job, it's impossible for our vibes not to spread through not only our guests, but our entertainers alike. It's our job to win them over. I've interacted with probably thousands of entertainers at this point in my career, and I've always been surprised by how loyal they're actually capable of being to a venue, because sometimes that venue is the most stable and positive thing in their lives. Issue number 5. We don't know how to relate to this strange new generation of guests, or actually the one before it, and we don't want to have to learn some new technology bullshit that is the opposite of old school hospitality and entertainment. Worse, our talent pool is comprised of candidates that are more comfortable communicating into their fucking phone than commanding the attention of a room full of guests who are seeking live interaction. Solution. Humans are no longer born with tails, but we still have stories to tell. Draft new talent based on personality and make a commitment to guide and develop them. As for technology, give it a hug because it's not going anywhere and it allows us to meet our guests where they live, which is typically online. This might include QR codes for menus and promos, booking apps like Pole Position, and even subscription based platforms like Unfiltered and Favoritely.com. We believe the best technology, when implemented well, enhances hospitality rather than replaces it. Evolve or sell. If we sound frustrated, we are. If we sound like we're judging, we're not. We all came here on different paths for different reasons. If we made it sound easy, it's not. But for those of us who are passionate, who view hospitality as a calling rather than a chore, who want to create change in this industry through intentions, words, and actions, we are still having fun. And I believe it's we who will decide where this industry is headed.